Hello, my name is Tracee de Hahn, and I've been privileged to work with Carolyn Martin in the Author Academy. My own writing journey started in nonfiction for young adults and has continued to mysteries published by St. Martin's Press. Carolyn began her writing journey this year with a strong story and complex characters. Throughout her time, she has taken her initial ideas to the next level, delving more deeply into the backstories of her cast and understanding the ebb and flow of action and emotion so critical to storytelling. Her work in progress focuses on Lynn Phillips, a therapist, loving mother, and wife. The unexplained death of a local man acts as a trigger to Carolyn's thriller, made only the more compelling when the protagonist's brother arrives on her doorstep after many years in prison. In the scene I'm reading today, the protagonist, Lynn, is well into understanding that all is not what it seems in her normally quiet town when she receives a phone call about another young woman she has grown close to. The next morning, Lynn rose early after a restless night worrying about Diana. She couldn't stop her racing thoughts about what might have happened. She recalled the arguments she had heard Diana have with Tony, and she kept overanalyzing the suicide note the sheriff had received the day before. When a text came from Walt, "If you're available, I need you at the bottom of your boat ramp. We've got something here," her knees weakened. She sank onto the side of the bed and begged aloud, "Please God, not Diana." She sat for a while, head bowed, before texting a response, "Be right down." Trying to pull herself together, Lynn rationalized that perhaps Walt had another question. Maybe it's not Diana, she told herself. This isn't the time to panic. Flashlight in hand, Lynn navigated the final slippery step to the base of her boat ramp where the coroner and the rescue team were quietly beginning the somber task of removing another body from the lake, the second in as many months. Still unaccustomed to the overwhelming, gag-inducing odor of a decomposing corpse, Lynn accepted the heavy-duty face mask extended to her by one of the workers. It quickly became dampened by her tears in the morning mist. "Lynn, thanks for coming down here again. I know this isn't easy," Walt said as he swiped his sleeve across his forehead and looked to the distant end of the lake. Lynn stood silent, recognizing the anguish in Walt. The trembling hands, the backward tilt of his head, and his furrowed brow. He was a man of dignity and compassion, and he should probably be in a less anxiety-producing line of work, she thought. Every death seems to tug at his heart. These 6 men had shared the experience of the grim task on multiple occasions. Now they moved mechanically, but respectfully through the process. Walter coughed. "This work is excruciating when the victims are young people." The team lifted the body from the dark water and placed it on the Phillips wooden dock. They looked to Lynn once again for identity confirmation. With an instant, visceral reaction, Lynn turned away, placing her hand on her face to brace herself for what she knew she would see. She felt no more prepared for this tragedy than she had for the previous drowning. She took a deep breath, closed her eyes, and turned her head toward the dock, then gradually opened her eyes. Damage to the corpse was eerily similar to that of Vern Williams weeks ago. Lynn recognized the damage to soft tissue, a feeding source for lake life. Discoloration and bloating had also set in. Still, Lynn could see clear indicators of identity. Diana's ponytail, the bracelet Vern had given her. She remembered Diana's furtive smile that day at Tony's pizza shop when Diana admitted the jewelry came from her secret boyfriend. "Those are the same clothes she was wearing when we dropped her off at night class," Lynn said. Although deeply tinted by the muddy water, the pink color still showed through. Yes, Lynn thought. This was the same teen who had appeared on the grainy marina video, bounding down the steps for a rendezvous with Vern. The same girl who whispered at the grief counseling session that she was pregnant with Vern's child. And the same girl seeking to better her life with education. Lynn had admired Diana's resilience and ability to maintain hope in the face of adversity. She just wanted to make a better life for herself, Lynn said. And now the sweet child has succumbed to some unknown, unexplainable force of evil. Walt nodded to the rescuers to close the bag and conclude their work. "Lynn, do you know anything about a letter the sheriff found? He mentioned it to me briefly when he called." Tears welled up in Lynn's red-rimmed eyes as she shook her head. "I heard about it, but I don't accept it. Well, I will never believe this was a suicide. Please, please, please be fierce with this autopsy. She told me she was pregnant. She never even drank alcohol, let alone drugs. She was planning to go to college next year. If we don't advocate for her, who will? Walt nodded. I understand. Don't worry, Lynn. I'll do my best. Diana didn't deserve this. Congratulations, Carolyn. It's been a great year with you.